the perspective of Islam and the Quran at large. My name is Barikis Rashid Abbas. Don't forget, you can watch us on my Ctv GH, that is on Facebook, and GoTV channel 21. You can, I always say you can send me a message on WhatsApp 0244674703 if you want us to discuss any topic of your choice, something you don't understand in the perspective of Islam. You can send us this message and then we'll get guests and we'll talk about it for you to understand. So don't be misunderstanding issues. We're going to welcome our guests. Today with me, I have Dr. Abubakar Mohammed Mazouk Azindu. He is a lecturer and the personal assistant to the Chief Imam of Ghana. Welcome, Doctor.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for making out time out of your busy schedule to come and help us educate people through the perspective of Islam. Our topic for today is religion and democracy, which is so relevant to me because of the times we are in now. We are getting closer to the election time. Democracy, people see it to be freedom of speech in governance, but I would really want you to give us a highlight on what democracy it really is. Doctor.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Good greetings, very lovely greetings to the cherished viewers of ours, and thanks for the opportunity to be here once again. Jum'ah Mubarak. Yes, let me join you in celebrating this topic. Very important. It is a source of education and information, which are needed in pursuit of nation building and in pursuit of service to Almighty Allah, in pursuit of service to humanity. Democracy can be viewed from different contexts.
Okay.
But all the definitions of democracy have a common context, but they all share certain characteristics.
Okay.
In all democratic dispensations, there are certain values that must be pursued. One of the fundamental values of democracy is the ability of the people to govern themselves.
Okay.
The power emanates from the people. And that is why Abraham Lincoln summarizes the definition of democracy by saying, quote and I quote, democracy is the government of the people, by the people, for the people. In other words, it is the government conducted by the people themselves. It is the government which is conducted in the interest of the people. And it is the government in which the people have the absolute power. So power belongs to the people. If you understand this simple definition of democracy, then you can come to appreciate the different versions of democracy that we have.
Yeah.
The American presidential system,
Okay.
the British parliamentary democracy, the French system, the Russian system, even the Gaddafi system, which the West call autocracy. Okay. These are all forms of democracy. Ghana is lucky to have practiced the two forms of the democracy.
Okay.
You see, and sometimes there is a situation where you can have an amalgamation of the two. That is the British parliamentary system, also known as the Westminster system, and then the American presidential model.
Okay.
If you come to Ghana's political history, you will understand that the First Republic was purely a matter of the British parliamentary system. Okay. Because Dr. Kwame Nkrumah was the prime minister. Okay. And in the British parliamentary system, you hold only one election. And that is why it is called parliamentary system. Okay. You hold only one election. And that election is a parliamentary election.
Okay.
Then the leader of the majority, the leader of the party of majority seats in parliament, then automatically becomes the winner of the election.
Okay.
So he or she becomes the prime minister. So in the 1957 election, CPP had the majority seats in parliament. And therefore, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, as the leader of CPP was automatically the prime minister. We come to the Second Republic. And then we had the Second Republic, we had we continued with the parliamentary system. That was 1969, after the coups. After the overthrow of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah in 1966, Second Republic was instituted, and it was led by Dr. Buzia. If you observe in that election, you realize that Buzia himself was a member of parliament in Wanchi. And then the United Party, the Progress, PP, the Progress Party, Progress PP, it was just PP, Progress Party, led by Buzia, at the end of the parliamentary election, became the party of the majority seats in parliament. And therefore, Buzia was automatically the prime minister. So he had to form the government. One of the features, and then let's come to the Third Republic. And when we came to the Third Republic, that was after 10 years. That was 1979. And in 1979, we had Dr. Hilal Liman as the winner of the election. But that one was not parliamentary. It was purely the American presidential system. And that was why we had both parliamentary elections and presidential elections. Dr. Hilal Liman's party became that party won the presidential elections. And then I think that party also had a number of seats in the parliamentary election. So one thing that we should know, Ghanaians should know, one distinguishing feature of both systems is that in one, we have the prime minister who actually holds the executive power, and then the president, and that president is just a ceremonial president. That was why in Buzia regime, today's president, the current president of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo's father, was the ceremonial president. And so he wasn't elected. He was just a ceremonial figure. So in today's context, you can compare his position to the vice president. Yes. So ceremonial president, and then Buzia was the prime minister. In the case of the First Republic, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah was the prime minister, but because we were still not a republic, the Queen of England was still the head of the state. So we had the head of state and the head of government. The prime minister is always the head of government, and the queen or the president is the ceremonial head of state. And then the Fourth Republic, when we came to the Fourth Republic, we realized that, yes, there was the need to amalgamate. But it's largely the American presidential system. That is why we are having the president and the vice president. But the British parliamentary feature in the current democratic dispensation is that majority of the ministers must come from parliament. That is a pure British parliamentary system. In British parliamentary system, in fact, majority, if not all the ministers, must come from parliament. That is why they have parliamentary supremacy in British parliamentary. That parliament can do anything with the exception of changing a man into a woman. And I think that expression should be changed, because now technology has given people who are not parliament the opportunity to change themselves from men to women and from women to men. But that traditional political expression is to justify how supreme the British Parliament is. So that is better. But today we are having largely American presidential system with certain features of the British parliamentary system. This is, in brief, what we call democracy. So in conclusion, democracy is a government in which power belongs to the people and not those who have been elected. Those who elect must rather be more powerful than those who have been elected. That is,
in Ghana, is
ideally, ideally, that is democracy. So if it doesn't prevail, what you have is a shadow of democracy.
Yeah, because I was
That
going
maybe,
to ask that.
yes.
So what we are facing now in Ghana,
Yes.
is it really
No, it's
democracy?
to be frank with you and with all humility. If you do proper analysis of democratic dispensation.
Because I'm a government student,
Yeah.
so I know democracy is a government for the people, by the people, and a government
Of the people,
for
by
the
the people,
by the people,
for
and
the
for the
people.
people.
Sure.
But this is what we are
So what we have
happening now. It's not. I don't really feel.
yes. So what we have today is what I call mockery and quackery of democracy. It's not real democracy.
It's not really
because
democracy.
we are throughout the Fourth Republic. In fact, we have been able to elect some monsters. Not all of them are monsters because we still have very good appointees.
People, yeah.
You understand that? Some of them are monsters. Some of them are just be there to grab the nation. They are here for looting. And they have looted the nation. They have left the ordinary Ghanaian. The ordinary Ghanaian cannot do it. And it's because of our ignorance of democratic dispensation. Majority of Ghanaians do not care to know what democracy constitutes and what democracy is about. And because of this ignorance, politician thrives on the ignorance of the people.
Of the people.
Yeah, because we are ignorant and we don't even know that we are the source of the power, and
Yeah,
therefore
we give
must
them
be,
the power.
Yes, we must be the wielders of the power.
Of the power.
Yes, they hold the power in trust.
Yeah.
In trust.
Because
that
we
are
cannot
the
all
origin.
be in
No,
government.
not at all.
So there are people to represent.
Exactly. So, and that's why you can see that politicians can do anything. Now, politicians in Ghana act like the British Parliament. They can do anything, with the exception of changing a man into a woman. I think they can even change a man into a woman. Yes. So, but if we know and we can hold them responsible, we hold them to account. That is why you see, with all humility, you see people who are not up to standard declaring that when their party comes to power, they will do whatever they want to do. And of course, when the party comes back, they do. They do. They can do whatever they want to do. They can capture the rule of law. They can capture economic prosperity. They can capture any form of influence. They can capture all kinds of power. And they can do whatever they want to do. It is because of the public ignorance about the dynamics of democratic constitutionalism. And it is important for all of us to understand. Learning about democracy is not only confined to the classroom.
Yeah,
You can anytime
it.
at all. Of course, you can learn democracy. You can learn to know how democracy is conducted. So, my dear, the problem is ours, and the solution is from us. We must provide the solution. And the best solution is understanding the dynamics of democratic governance and being ready to rise up to power and to speak truth to power and to let the politicians understand that yes, they are holding the power, but we are the source of the power. And for that reason, we should, in an ideal manner, be more powerful than they are.
So, well, I'm laughing there. When you said you have to rise up to power, yes. There was this day we were talking. Yes. May his soul rest in peace,
but let me add, we have to rise up to power within the confines of rationality and civility.
Yeah.
Not within the confines of violence. Let me add that.
Yeah.
It's important.
There was a day we were talking, and I was like, politics in Ghana is rough. Either than that, I would have joined, because people were saying, "Oh, why won't you come look for a position and fight for the Zongo youth and what?" I was like, "Hey, me politics, I'm scared." Yes. So there was a day we were talking, and then my father was like, "In Ghana, if you want to know the person who gave birth to your great grandfather, go and do politics, and they'll tell you.
Yes, they'll tell you
who you really are."
Yes, Buzia himself said, to become a politician, you should be ready for all kinds of insults. You should have the heart.
Which is bad.
Yes, to withstand, which is bad. So and that should not be the case. In an ideal situation, politics should be a refined pursuit. A refined job. It's supposed to be a profession. And politicians should not go into politics to make money, but to serve the nation. In our situation, everybody, now we are dealing with the politics of insult from both sides of the political divide, the government and the opposition. And people have been awarded because of their mastery of insults. We are in this country, which should not be the case. We are in this country, and we have witnessed how the major political parties, the NDC and the MPP, have been able to award mastery of insults instead of competence. And that is why Ghana cannot do well in terms of economic prosperity. Because when you insult people to become a minister, you cannot perform.
Yeah.
You will at all times be defending your mastery of insults and not your competence. And your competence doesn't matter to your employer, the one who employs you. No, what matters to him or her, because definitely one day a woman will become the president in this country.
Inshallah.
Yes. I know you say inshallah. So what matters to him or her is your ability to downgrade your opponent, disgrace your opponent,
tell lies,
and destroy your opponent. That is what matters. And it is unfortunate. I fear for this youth. I fear for the next generation. And I hope and I believe that within the confines of politics, Ghanaians are dealing with what I call a generational catastrophe.
Seriously?
A very serious generational catastrophe. The youth of today, and I'm happy that the topic includes the word youth. Yeah. Youth of today, particularly the Muslim youth.
Yeah. So I was going to
are not positioned.
Well.
Yes, well. One, to understand politics. Two, to pursue it successfully.
So in all this, how does religion come in it?
Yes, religion, you know, religion.
Doctor.
Yes.
How can religion help correct these things?
Okay, so before we come to the substantive question, we need to understand that in spite of the secular form of governance in this country, of course, you and I know that Ghana is a secular state. It's neither a Christian state nor an Islamic state, neither Vatican nor Saudi Arabia. Ours is democracy, not theocracy. Theocracy is the government by religion. Government on the basis of religion, you see. So
I think Ghana is towing on that line, because I'm seeing religion.
Yes. But let me tell you why religion. Ghana is a secular state, right? But in spite of the secular structures, Ghanaians are by nature highly godly. We are very religious. And our religiosity is determined by our national heritage. I mean, documents about our nation. For example, the national anthem. You know, the Ghana's national anthem, the first sentence starts with God.
God, yeah.
And then national pledge, the last sentence the last sentence ends with God.
Good.
So our national anthem starts with God. Our national pledge ends with God. So that alone tells you that we are godly. We are very religious people. God bless our homeland Ghana is the first sentence of our national anthem. And so help me God is the last sentence of our national pledge. Wow. So that makes us very godly people.
That is a very great analysis.
And for that reason, religion still finds expression in our politics and governance. It's not a crime. It's not a crime for religion to find expression in our politics and governance. I believe we should encourage that. But when it finds the expression in our politics and governance, it should seek to sanitize, not to destroy.
Not to destroy. Because if you are godly, and you worship God, and you feel you want to treat people, the next person like you treat yourself, because that's what the Quran and the Bible says. Definitely, you have to do the right thing.
Yes. In fact, there's no value taught in political science that is not taught in the Quran and Bible.
The Bible.
All the values that are critical to the consolidation of democratic governance are also contained in the Quran and in the Bible. Count them. I may not be able to quote the Bible, but there are countless verses in the whole Quran that talks about forgiveness, that talks about unity, that talks about reconciliation, that talk about understanding, that talk about tolerance, treating people with justice. These are all democratic values. So if we leverage these values to sanitize our democratic conduct, it will be in the interest of the state. And we will all enjoy proper democracy. So it is not wrong for religion to be featured in our democratic world. What is wrong is for religion to be used as a tool to destroy people in the name of democracy, to be used as a tool to destroy the youth,
confuse people,
confuse everybody, bring confusion, bring violence into our democratic pursuit. That is what is wrong, and that is what we must rise. But it didn't start today. You know, Ghana, because of the way we are godly, even our political experience, I mean, our first pursuit of democracy was dictated by religion.
Okay.
Before independence, there were political parties, many political parties. In 1954, a lot of political parties were formed to prepare for the independence election. You know what the party that has come that has become the UP, United Party. The UP has been an amalgamation of different political parties.
Okay.
And at the time, there was the law of this country didn't ban any formation of any political party on the basis of on the basis of religion and tribe.
Yeah.
It didn't. So at that time, in fact, in 1954, we had parties like the National Liberation Movement, which was formed by not less a person, I mean, an important personality in this country, right? Then, Otunfo Ajiman Prempeh II.
Okay.
Through Bafo Akoto.
Okay.
So that was mainly an Ashanti party.
Okay.
We also had Northern People's Party, NPP1. Right?
Okay.
Dr. Bawumia's father was one of the founding fathers of Northern People's Party. You understand that? So it was there. Then we had Muslim Association Party, largely known as Islam. You are from Kumasi. It was very vibrant in Kumasi, in the north and in the Zongos of the south.
Okay.
No, it was known as Islam, but the official name was Muslim Association Party. Then we also had the Togoland Congress. Airways.
Okay.
We still had the Anglo Youth Organization, meant for the Airways again. Okay. Then we have Ga Shifimokwi Party for Gans. So the constitution allowed that.
Okay.
You understand that, and we could. But then after the independence, when Dr. Kwame, and you know, when Dr. Kwame Nkrumah won the election, he came in the same year, 1957. He came out with an act, right? And then that act was called the Avoidance of Discrimination Act of 1957, CA 38. Okay. And that was to ban all political parties on the basis of tribes, ethnicity, and race.
Religion. Okay.
And religion. Okay. You understand that? Okay. So they were all banned. So it means that all these parties were then declared illegal. How could they survive? They had to come together to become a united party led by Buzia. That was the formation of the party. And that is why the current constitution is informed by what happened. And Dr. Kwame Nkrumah was right at then, because those things divided Ghanaians more. Yeah, and he wanted lots of division. Yes, he wanted a situation where even though he also had his own evil intention. His evil intention was because later he still passed a legislation that turned the country from multi-party state to one-party state. That I disagree with him, because that was no longer democracy. That became oligarchy. You are a government student. It's no longer democracy. But for him to ban the formation of political parties on the basis of religion and tribe, it was a very good thing. And we love him for that. Yeah. Yes, to turn the country from multi-party state to one-party state was wrong. Yes, wrong. Yes, so that banned them, and then they came together. So the current constitution, if you look at the current constitution, Article 21, 1C, right, provides for freedom of religion and manifestation of religion. So that tells you, so that particular constitutional provision is informed by the division that Ghana encountered, the hostility and division that Ghana encountered in a period when political parties were formed on the basis of religion and ethnicity. So it is good. But that constitutional provision tells you that, yes, you still have the right to belong to any political party of your choice. Ghana is still a secular state, but we are also a multi-religious society. And therefore, you have the right to belong to any religion of your choice. And you can manifest that religion. The operative words here is the religion to practice, freedom to practice and freedom to manifest. And that's why I use our Christian brothers and sisters should pardon me to advise that banning of hijab, which is an act of wearing of hijab, which is an act of manifestation, should stop in schools, right? Preventing people to fast on campuses must stop. Must stop. That is unconstitutional, because that is practice. You understand? Fasting is a practice of religion. Wearing of hijab is manifestation of religion. We are lucky. Ghana is enjoying a very healthy interfaith environment. Let that environment be rather consolidated. Let's not disturb that environment. So we beg you, please, let's enjoy that healthy environment. Don't ban hijab, don't ban fasting. It is the hijab and the fasting are backed by the constitution, which is the supreme law of the land, right? And that was why the Achimota guy, the Rasta guy, had to floor the whole of Achimota before the court of competent jurisdiction. You understand that? So let's forget about all these things and build the nation in a state of unity in diversity. The best form of unity is unity in diversity. So religion in politics didn't start. Religion in politics didn't start today, but religion in politics should. I agree that we should entertain religion in politics, but we should not allow it to divide us. Not at all. And that is exactly what we are witnessing in the Fourth Republic, particularly now. Particularly now, if you listen to some of the pronouncements after the victory of His Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, from both sides, you will be shocked. Some of the pronouncements, you'll be very shocked. And these are people who should even rise above the pettiness of religion and pettiness of ethnicity. But yet they make certain hostile statements. I mean, very inflammatory statements. I strongly believe that the good people of this country will rise to prevent these people from using religion and ethnicity to disturb, our constitutional dispensation. Inshallah, we at the end of the day, it's very sad. At the end of the day, I am very optimistic. Some of the words. Yes, very, very, very sad. From both sides. Somebody will speak, and then you look at him and say, this guy, is he a Ghanaian? Or is he coming from Jupiter? Perhaps he's not on Earth. He's coming from Jupiter or Mars. You understand that? So, and these are people that want to be our leaders. And it's unfortunate. I strongly believe that religion should rather be used as a tool of unity and not as a tool of division.
On this note, what I want to really know, since we want religion to be a tool of unity, what is the role of a Muslim youth in democracy, aside using our young guys to go and fight for power, and after the power they will relegate them to the background, using them to do all the dirty jobs? What is the real, what is the role of a Muslim youth in this our democracy?
But the role of the Muslim youth in this democracy is not different from the role of a non-Muslim youth.
Okay, so what you say,
it's not different.
The role of a youth.
Yeah, you have the right to even
because normally when they are using the guys to do this dirty job. They don't use the non-Muslim guys.
And that's why
they use the guys with the name of, you see Adams, you see Mustafa, you see Mohammed inside every negative thing in politics.
And that is why
but when it comes to good positions, you see they'll call the account names and give them positions in power.
Sure. And that's why your question is right. In fact, your question is right. I'm only building a point.
I understand.
You understand that? Your question is perfect.
Yeah, I'm building a point. Because it's worrying. You see, every negative thing is them.
The Muslim, you see, the Muslim youth must first of all understand that Ghana is not a theocracy. I said it earlier.
Yeah.
Ghana is a democracy. And every Muslim youth, let me say it clear, has the right to support His Excellency the former President John Dramani Mahama and his party, and His Excellency the current Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, Dr. Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. You have the right. Don't be deceived into thinking that this is an election of religion.
Religion and tribe.
And tribe. Not at all. No. Don't be deceived. Look, if you are a Southerner, you have the right. If you are a Southern Muslim youth, you have the right to support either John Dramani Mahama of NDC or Dr. Bawumia of MPP.
And even the other parties.
Yes, you have the right. And because they are the two major political parties.
So but this time we're looking for a third force.
Yes, yeah, but the third force can only emerge when the Nkrumahs clean their home, forget about the divisions and come together.
I've seen some signs in town.
Yes.
The third force coming.
Yes.
I don't really know who is behind that, but it's making waves in town.
So the role of a Muslim youth is a matter of civic duty.
Okay.
It is a civic duty. You must belong to a political party of your choice. You should contribute to the development of that political party.
Okay.
You should help the party to come to power. You should offer yourself for any position if you have the expertise. You should conduct yourself in a manner that will not disturb peace in this country. You should never reduce yourself to the apparatus of evil for any politician. Stand up to politicians, even those that you love. Let them know that they are not angels and you are a human being. Let them know that you are also a reasonable being. If they cannot snatch their ballot boxes, you should not also snatch the ballot box.
And they'll use their kits.
Yes. At the end of the day, it is not even the snatching of the ballot box itself. It's not right. So don't let them reduce you to the apparatus of evil, a ballot box snatcher. And then at the end of the day, they ask you where you come from. Let me tell you something. There are certain positions that do not demand any certification. You understand that? Certain positions don't demand any certificate.
Okay.
You understand that? But then, when the politicians want to use the Muslim boys, they tell them, oh, go and do the dirty job. And when they do the dirty job and come back, majority of them will be eliminated, and rightly so, because they will be told that they do not have certificate. What about the positions that do not demand the certificate? For example, even do you know ambassadorial position doesn't demand any qualification?
Really?
Of course, if you are reasonable. If you are reasonable, it doesn't. There's no degree qualification or any certificate qualification for ambassadorial appointment. That's even high. There are so many things in governance. You know, governance is an all-inclusive affair. So many things in governance where you can put certificate-less people, and they can perform very well. But what do? Normally, those without certificate, they say, oh, let's recruit them as national security operatives. And you know, national security is a serious business. National security is a very serious business for serious-minded people.
Not vagabonds.
No, not vagabonds, not riffraffs. So you bring them as riffraffs, and then you give them all the ammunitions. And when there's any political violence, they are unleashed on innocent people. They go and cause the violence. They may even go and beat their own sisters and brothers. Yes, and come back and regret. Apart from that, nothing more, nothing less. Those things must stop. So the Muslim youth must first of all recognize the need to understand the dynamics of democratic governance. That's his or her first role. And when they understand, then they should be ready to be used for positivity, not negativity. And it is not, and I've made it clear. Look, it doesn't matter. The Republic of Ghana is neither for Muslims nor for Christians. So it doesn't matter whom you vote, right? It doesn't matter whom you vote. Dr. Bawumia, a very gentleman, a brother of ours. Mr. John Mahama, another brother of ours, is an elder brother of ours, right? Let me also emphasize that even though they are Northerners, the next presidential election is not going to be a Northern affair.
No.
It's supposed to be a national affair. So Northerners should not think that, oh, because they are Northerners, I mean, because this one is a Northerner, we must give them our, I mean, so give him our vote. Or because both of them are Northerners, we must give them our vote. Let's vote for them based on their competence. And both of them have been in government. And I think it is up to us. We are not stupid people with all humility.
Yeah.
We are humble souls of common sense. Let's apply our common sense and analyze their regimes. Who did better than whom? Who served people than whom? Who made economic progress better than whom? These are the areas we should consider. Not because they are Muslims, not because they are Christians, not because they are Southerners, not because they are Northerners, but because they are humble citizens of the Republic of Ghana, because they are the proud statesmen of the Republic of Ghana. Geopolitics will continue to be part of our democratic pursuit. That somebody comes from the north and that somebody comes from the south. But that should be a matter of strategy. A strategy in the sense that when you have a northerner, you may have a southerner as your vice to win election. That's a matter of strategy. And that should not even be made as a law. It's a convention. Right? Let's look at them first as Ghanaians. Let's look at them first as competent people. Let's look at them first as peaceful people. Let's look at them first as people who can lead us to the promised land of development and prosperity. Let's not be deceived into thinking that because they are Christians, they will be good to Christians. Because they are Muslims, they will be good to Muslims. Let's rather conclude that because they are Ghanaians, they should be good to the Republic of Ghana and the people of the Republic of Ghana. At the end of the day, it is nation building, not nation destruction that we need in this country. And I believe that any of them is capable. Any of them is capable once he is given the chance. And a word to them too. Now, the election is going to be very historic.
Very critical.
And in each way, it's historic.
Yeah.
It is historic because for the first time, a perceived Akan-dominated party has chosen a non-Akan. Perceived. I'm very cautious of my diction.
Yeah.
Whether it is a perception or a reality, I know it is a perception.
Yeah.
That is historic. For the first time, that a Muslim and a sitting vice president has been elected to lead the ruling party to elections. That is historic. For the first time, that a former president is making efforts to come back to complete his term. That is also historic. So there are so many dimensions of history in the elections. And these dimensions of history are more likely to constitute sources of violence if we misconduct ourselves, or opportunities of peace if we conduct ourselves very well. My word of advice to both of them is that they should demonstrate a high sense of
leadership,
unity in diversity, maturity, civility, and rationality. And they should prove that each of them is capable of leading the good people of the Republic of Ghana. And that each of them is capable of ensuring the aspired economic prosperity that Ghanaians will thank them for. And each of them will, at the end of the day, prove to all of us that he will do everything possible to ensure that Ghanaians under him will see the next election as another opportunity to reaffirm our commitment to the consolidation of democratic governance and economic prosperity. This is a humble word of advice to these elder brothers of mine from the north and from Ghana. Let them act as lovers of democracy and not destroyers of democracy. Thank you.
This is deep. This is deep. So can you give us a highlight, like I said, as I said, on the real role of a Muslim youth in this democracy? As far as this, I want you to highlight it again, because I want it to sink in.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
And then let people know we are not in for violence.
No.
Because at this state of ours in this country, if violence comes to add up, then we are dead.
You see, let me put it clear to the Muslim community. Yes.
Bullets, yeah.
Yes. Let me put it clear to the Muslim community, whether we like it or not. It is a bitter reality. And the bitter reality here is that we are part of the underprivileged communities in Ghana.
Very.
Yes, we are. So if there is any violence, we will feel it. We will be the worst victims.
The heat, yeah.
So no violence at all. In that case, the Muslim youth, one, must belong to political parties of their choice. Two, they must refuse to be used as agents of violence. Three, they must even form, I'm proposing to them, that the Muslim youth of various political parties should come, and the Office of National Chief Imam can provide technical assistance.
Okay.
I'm proposing a national inter-party conference of the Muslim youth, where we will make a declaration to the world that we will not offer ourselves as tools of violence.
That is necessary.
Yes, and I think the Office of National Chief Imam and his leadership of His Eminence can provide technical assistance. In that conference, national conference, we can have political scientists and governance experts to present papers to educate us.
Yeah.
So that, and this is going to be a conference of inter-party, an inter-party conference of Muslim youth.
Yeah.
That is the youth of all the political parties coming together under the umbrella of Islam to hold a conference. One, to reaffirm their commitment to democracy, and two, to make a declaration, a strong declaration, that in whatever political party they are found, they won't offer themselves as tools of violence. And three, Muslim youth should be able to have an agenda, a development agenda, a post-election agenda. Muslim youth in all the political parties should have pro-election agenda. And of course, the Constitution does not ban that. The Constitution gives us the right to form association. Freedom of association is one of the enshrined provisions of the Constitution. So freedom of association. The Muslim youth in various political parties should have a post-election agenda. Politics is a matter of influence. It's a matter of bargaining. When we help you to come to power, what will you give us? Let's have that bargaining. Yes, let's have that conversation. And we have to take, maybe we have to document it. And when we come to power,